The students of Navajyoti College of Teacher Education for Women are doing a presentation as a part of the paper EDU 07 Facilitating Learning on the topic Models of Teaching. These slides take us through the history, meaning, definition, characteristics, elements, families of teaching models, its merits and demerits. For a long time ago, the focus of education psychology has been only on learning, but now there is a shift of emphasis from learning to teaching, leading to effective learning. The educationalists and psychologists are making efforts to evolve theories of teaching, and as a result, some models of teaching has been developed. A model of teaching is a tentative theory of teaching. What is the difference between teaching theory and models of teaching? A theory is a system in which the interaction among actual variables involved in a system is explained, whereas a model is an analogy and is evaluated by its utility. The best way to proceed towards formulating a theory of teaching is to begin experimenting with what is known about learning in the laboratory and in the classroom. This may be done by adopting a teaching model derived from a theory of learning. This is a very important function served by teaching models. Models of teaching are instructional designs or plans in which the teacher designs how to develop a particular environment and what should be the interaction and what course of interaction should be followed in the classroom between the teacher and student to attain the objective. Going through the history of the models of teaching, it emerged from a search by Bruce Joyce and Marcia Weil in 1972 to find a variety of approaches and strategies to teaching to match the various learning styles. The pictures of Bruce Joyce and Marcia Weil are given. They found a solution to the dilemma of different learning styles with the purpose of all round development of a child. They researched on variety of strategies developed by teaching learning theories and designed a number of models of teaching. What they did was they visited famous schools of some advanced countries and then grouped the teaching plans followed in those schools and developed a teaching theory. Initially, this teaching theory wasn't successful, but later on they edited the best plans and published it in a book called The Models of Teaching. Models of Teaching is a book by Bruce Joyce and Marcia Weil. It was first published in 1972, which is shown on the left side, and recently we are using the ninth edition, which is published in 2018. In that book, we have the use of group learning, role playing, synthetics, and other teaching techniques. Coming to the meaning of models of teaching. Models of teaching is an instruction plan or pattern based on specific learning theory. It is an overall plan or a pattern that a teacher may follow in teaching. Models of teaching consist of guidelines for designing educational activities and environment. It is meant for creating suitable learning environment. Models of teaching provides guidelines as to what to teach, how to teach, and what action is to be taken for teaching. According to Bruce Joyce and Marcia Weil, models of teaching can be described as a pattern or plan which can be used to shape a curriculum or course, to select instructional materials, and to guide a teacher's action. This definition is very important. I'll repeat it once more. Models of teaching can be described as a pattern or plan which can be used to shape a curriculum or course, to select instructional materials, and to guide a teacher's action. Bruce Joyce and Marcia Weil tried to define the term model in their book Models of Teaching. Teaching models are just instructional designs. They describe the process of specifying and producing particular environmental situations which cause a student to interact in such a way that specific changes occur to his behavior. These models of teaching has got certain characteristics. Scientific procedure. Models of teaching are scientific procedures to modify the behavior of the learners. Specification of learning outcome. Models of teaching specify the learning outcomes or instructional objectives in terms of observable and measurable performance of students. Specification of environment. Models of teaching specify in definite terms the environmental conditions under which a student response should be observed. Specification of criteria of performance. Models of teaching specify the criteria of acceptable performance expected from the students. Elements. The models of teaching has certain key elements, fundamental elements or key terms. Both these words can be used to represent the elements. Four major components are included in all teaching models. These components may vary based on the model. These components are focus, syntax, social system, principle of reaction, support system. Two effects which are gained through the practice of a model are instructional effect and nurturant effect. Focus. It is the central aspect of a model. It includes the objectives of teaching and aspects of environment. Focus is simply the goal or objective of learning. The teaching activities or teaching learning process are oriented to achieve some goals. It describes the aspects of the environment which are the most important in the life of student. Syntax. It is a sequence of steps involved in the organization of the complete program of teaching. The phases involved in the different models will differ. These models are very useful for teachers for planning and organizing teaching activities. Elements. There are few elements or key components. These components are included in all teaching models. Each of these components will vary with the model. The major components are focus, syntax, social system, principle of reaction, support system. Two effects that are gained through the practice of a model are instructional effect and nurturant effect. The description of the model should start with a brief explanation of the goal and ways to be supported by the learning theory based upon which the model has been developed. It is evident that, according to the model chosen, the goals and the theoretical construct will change. The components can be described so. Focus. Central aspect of a model. It includes the objective of teaching and aspect of environment. Focus is simply the goal or objective of teaching. The teaching activities, teaching learning process are oriented to achieve some goals. It describes the aspects of the environment which are most important in the life of a student. Syntax. The sequence of steps involved in the organization of the complete teaching program. The phases involved in the different models will differ. This indicates how a lesson based upon a particular model begins and through what phases it progresses and culminates in the realization of developmental goal. In the first, the lesson may begin by exhibiting an example of a concept with indications of the attributes to be observed, to be followed by presentation of situations leading to discrimination, classification, generalization, definition, in short, concept attainment. In inquiry training model, the beginning will be presentation of a problematic situation that calls for hypothesizing by the pupil, presentation by them in the form of questions resulting in the rejection or acceptance of a hypothesis. Social system. The relationship between the teacher and the learner, as well as the role played by them in each activities that take place. Class is a miniature of society in which the teacher and learner are the major components. the relationship between the teacher and the learners, as well as the role played by each in the activities that take place, define the nature of social system. Since class is a miniature of society, the nature of classroom is the social system. The leadership role of teachers varies greatly from model to model. In some model, the teacher is a reflective or a facilitator of group activities. In some others, a counselor, and in still others, a taskmaster. Principles of reaction. The nature of reaction expected from the teacher to every pupil activity. It gives guidance to the teacher as to how he is expected to react to each activity of the learners to suit the characteristics of the model selected. In some models, the teacher tries to shape the behavior of the students by rewarding certain students' activities and maintaining a neutral stance towards them. Support systems. Additional requirements other than usual human skills or capabilities of a teacher. The facilities usually available in the classroom. A description of this support system in advance will help the teacher ensure that he can apply the model successfully. For the concept attainment model, an environment facilitating observation of examples together with the ones that do not exactly possess the attributes is a must. In the inquiry model, a problematic situation motivating the learners themselves to probe into is required. A description of this support system in advance will help the teacher ensure that he can create a pool these and apply these for the execution of the model successfully. Instructional effect. Direct effects. These are effects of a lesson as purposefully envisaged by a teacher. Nurturant effect. Indirect effect. Effects that might happen as a byproduct. Some of these byproducts may be desirable while some others are undesirable. For example, a personal model gives freedom to a child to behave as he would like to, may result in some antisocial responses. In inductive thinking model, the instructional effects are concept formation process and specific concepts, whereas the nurturant effects are awareness of nature of knowledge, sensitivity to language, and attention to logic. Families of teaching models. Even though there are different models, some of them follow the same characteristics. Thus, they are grouped into a family, and this new term family is introduced to show some similarities among certain models of teaching. Teaching models are organized mainly into four families on the basis of the way they approach educational goals and means: the information processing family, the personal family, the social interaction family, and the behavioral modification family. Information processing family. This family focuses on intellectual capacity. The primary purposes are mastering of the method of inquiry, developing the skill for processing information, and fostering the ability to think logically. It includes the examples include concept attainment model by Jerome S. Bruner, inquiry training model by Richard Suchman, and inductive thinking model by Hilda Taba. Personal family. This deals with the personal development of an individual. The primary goals are to increase a student's sense of self-worth, to help students understand themselves more fully, to help students refine their emotions, to foster the student's creativity. Examples include non-directive teaching model by Carl Rogers, conceptual system model by David Hunt, and synthetic model by William J.J. Gornard. Social interaction family. This family emphasizes the relationship of the individual to society. The primary goals are to train, to work together, to develop student skills for maintaining human relations, to inculcate personal and social values. Examples include group investigation model by Herbert Thelen, social simulation model by Seren Bocock, Role-playing model by Fanny Sheffel and George Sheftel. Behavioral modification family. It emphasizes on changing the observable behavior of the learner. The primary goals are to learn strategies for self control through operant methods, to master techniques for stress reduction, to foster leadership quality, to develop competency, to adopt behavioral styles appropriate to given situations. And the examples include Contingency Management Model by B.F. Skinner and Managing Behavioral Model written by the same person, and Stress Reduction Model by Joseph Wolf. Teaching models have direct application and utility in making the teaching learning process more effective. The teacher, learner, and the subject matter are the three main elements which interact with one another. In simple, model of teaching is designed to achieve a particular set of objectives. It is not a substitute for any teaching skill. Rather, it creates a conducive teaching learning environment in which teachers teach more effectively by making teaching act more systematic and efficient. Now, the merits of models of teaching. It is a natural way of teaching and learning. It is helpful in developing the power of imagination of students. It helps in the development of reasoning power of students. It helps the students to analyze things systematically. It helps the students actively engage in classroom activity. It helps in making the students good observers. It keeps students busy in the classroom. It helps teachers at optimizing efforts to successfully reach and teach their students. It helps in guiding the teachers to select appropriate teaching techniques for effective utilization of teaching situations and materials for realizing the objectives. They help in bringing about desirable changes in the behavior of the learners. They help in finding out the means of creating favorable environmental situations for carrying out teaching process. They help in achieving desirable teacher pupil interaction during teaching. They help in the construction of curriculum or contents of course. They help in the proper selection of instructional material for teaching the prepared course or the curriculum. They help in designing appropriate educational activities. They assist procedure of material to create interesting and effective materials and learning source. They stimulate the development of new educational innovations. They help in the formation of theory of teaching. They help to establish teaching and learning relationship empirically. The demerits of models of teaching are it makes high demand on the students as well as teachers. All the students of the class may not be able to participate in the teaching learning process. Some students on account of their shyness fail to derive the requisite advantage of this model. All models are not appropriate for instructional scenarios. When teachers don't have the same belief system that guides the chosen model, teachers tend to balk at using those methods. The slides are presented by the students of Physical Science of Navajodi College. Now we have a video which shows a representation of this model. Inductive thinking model is a member of information processing family. It has very much applications in science. The word inductive takes us from examples to generalized ideas, and as you all know, deductive model is something opposite to this. So, from the examples, we make the students to think about the generalized theory. The application of this is shown in the video.
Today we are going to study a new topic in science. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Now Lamb giving some examples of motion that are seen in our daily lives. An athlete running on a circular track. Earth moving around the sun. A spinning top. Tire of a resting bicycle set in motion. Now all of you group the given example into two groups. You should group them according to the type of motion by thinking the similarities and differences between them.
Can we discuss each other?
Yes, you can.
Do you have any idea?
Yes, I think both motion of Earth and athletes around track have some similarities. I think in both cases body is moving with respect to a center.
Yes, you said it.
Thank you.
And what about others?
You mean the spinning top and moving tire of rest bicycle? I think they belongs to the same group. In this case, body is moving with respect to an axis, and that axis is passing through the body.
Yeah, you are right. We must discuss with our ma'am.
Yeah, done.
Hi students.
Miss, I got the answer.
Very good, give him a clap. Share your thoughts with others.
Yeah, ma'am. Both spinning top and moving tire of a rest bicycle are same kind. I think they belongs to same group.
Yes, you are correct. Such motions in which axis of rotation is through the center of body is called revolution. Can anyone guess the motion when the axis of rotation is outside the body?
It's rotation.
Yes, find more examples for each of this motion. Don't forget L will ask tomorrow, be ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all. See you.
Thank you.